Alrighty, welcome to another day in paradise. Right, we're going to get into it. This is where we're at. We have got, this is going to be an episode about UADash, particularly to do with the UAEFI, and this is what we got. So this is pretty budjo, but it is what it is. It looks a bit grubby because it's still got the screen protector on it, but I've mounted this into the old cluster, which has been modified about 2 times before with different gauges, and now I've got it actually. This is going to hopefully be the final reincarnation of it. It's a bit rough and ready, but it's there, it's solid. This is what I've got. I'll turn it over. Okay, as you can see, she's pretty high spec. That's a bit of custom wood in there. That's the back of the UADash, and I was going to power it up through one of these ports here, which has got a voltage in and a ground. Then I was told that I couldn't just feed 5 volts into it. I had to modify something on the board, possibly something to do with this little gizmo here. And I thought, well, I don't want to be fucking soldering things off and on the board. So I thought, right, I found an old USB lead, and I've got obviously my buck converter here, my $3 AliExpress buck converter, put it down to 5 volts. So we've got 12 volts going down to 5 through the USB, and it's fine. And then we have our CAN bus line here ready to go. So that's it, high tech, very, very high tech. There's a bit of hot glue in there. There's a few cable ties, but you get the idea. You know, where's our focus? Here we go. You get the idea. It's going to be a screen. I don't know if it actually works or not yet. I have tried it, plugging it into a USB on the bench earlier on, as you've probably seen on my other videos. This here is going to be my CAN bus line. It's just red and black. It's twisted, which apparently is what you're supposed to do to limit interference. And so yeah, in terms of the car, we have got, it's very dark in here. I've cleaned out all of the wiring that was going from the cluster all the way down to the rear end and into the engine bay. I have cleaned out the engine bay of all the old wiring from the Speeduino and the microsquirt. That's all gone because we obviously have our new loom to install. So yeah, I'm just in the process. I've still got to get rid of a couple of gauges there and there. The ones that air fuel gauge, because hopefully the Rust EFI will just work the wideband directly. The other gauge is a fuel level gauge, which I've now incorporated into the loom that will be going down here all the way to the Rust EFI, and hopefully I will be able to get that to show up on the Rust EFI and then obviously to the UADash. So I'll just have a bit of a tidy up here, get these old gauges off the top there, and we'll see if we can get this thing to light up, and we'll go from there. Right, into it. Alright, I just jammed that in, and I have to even remove those gauges, but I've jammed that in, and I'll try it on. I have already clicked it on, it works. So we have our dash lit up. It does do a couple of little funny things. I'm not sure what. I don't know if it'll do it. But initially I turned it on. It came on for about 5 seconds, then turned off for a second. Then came back on for about 10 seconds, then turned off for a second. And then came back on, and now it seems to be steady. I'm not sure if it's because the battery in the car may be down. I'm not sure. But we have a nice little display there showing full boost, which is something I like to see, even though nothing's plugged in. But yeah, you get the idea. So we got it sorted. We got our dash in, instant boost. Let's see if it'll do that turn off thing. No, it seems to be happy now. I'm not sure what that was all about, whether it didn't like the buck converter voltage or something, but 5 volts. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, now I can carry on, and it looks awesome. Happy with that, really good. And I do like the actual fact that on the camera it looks like it's quite grey, the background's quite grey. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, anyway, there we go. I wonder what that's all about. Interesting. I might have to put this up on the board. All right, let's have a looky. All right, right, this is another day. There's always something to hold you up, eh? Anyway, so after that little glitch issue that we were sort of having a problem with, I've been doing heaps of research, and there's a couple of things I'm going to do. I'm going to possibly try and get rid of the USB style connector and go in for a hardwire on the board. You wouldn't think it would be so hard just to power a board, would you? I've got so much conflicting information, and it seems crazy. So I'm going to do a quick little experiment and get this board hopefully fired up, but in the process I may also fry it. For 70 New Zealand dollars, I'm not too worried, but it would be nice just to be able to just power this board up and make it work, straight away. Yeah, so anyway, so the first thing I'm going to do is check my brand spanking new Chinese buck converter, check that it's got 5 volts coming out of it. And if it has, then I'm going to, I'm not sure if you can see it here, well, I might zoom up. I'll just get a pointer. So this connector here has got 4 terminals in it, and 2 of the terminals are VCC and ground. I've been told by various people that the VCC is a 5 volt input to power the board. Some other people have said no, it is an input, but it's to use that input for 5 volts, I then have to swap over this little relay, this little resistor here from the 3V3 slot to the 5 slot. After doing lots and lots of research on that, it turns out that, well, it may or may not be true, and that 3V3 slot versus the 5 slot is to do with the other 2 pins that are in here, which are data communication pins of external devices like GPS, etc. And this resistor swap here is whether the 2 data cables, the 2 data terminals here, talk in 3.3 volts or 5 volts. So we will find out. I'm willing to take the risk. There's a possibility that this cheap little USB cable I found, which only has 2 wires in it because it's all it is used for is charging a device. Very skinny cables. I was sort of a little bit worried about it when I first saw it. I was like, oh, that is quite skinny. But anyway, this unit here can put out 3 amps, 15 watts at 5 volts. So there's plenty of juice there. So we'll see what happens. If I get this wrong, I will fry it. And Matt, 3-pot MR2, is also telling me he's feeding his board through this block here, which is the outlet for a lithium-ion battery to charge a battery. So he's backfeeding the board through the battery point, which to me seems very unusual, but it seems to be working for him. And this is the thing, when you're talking with AI, you don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know whether to believe it or not. But AI also said that if you backfeed the battery port, it will instantly fry the board, and that obviously hasn't happened. So for Matt, so watch me let the smoke out. All right, we'll get into it. Alrighty, into it now. I've soldered up that 4-pole terminal, 4-pole plug, VCC and ground into my buck converter. My buck converter is putting out 5.2 volts, which is slightly higher than it's supposed to be. Go to the Chinese, and AI is telling me that, yeah, that's fractionally high, obviously, but it should have enough scope in there to handle that 0.2 of a volt extra that it's got. We'll wait and see. This might just all turn to shit, so we'll turn this on, power it up with this battery that I've got here, and just see if it explodes or if it actually does something what it's supposed to. Right, here we go. Right, okay, she's on so far. And do we have any problems? I have noticed something different already. I'm not sure what that is about. That little boost gauge there, for some reason, every time I fired it up before, that would stay solid green, and there'd be a bit of a graphics glitch in the green bar at this left-hand side. Now it's just a little line. That's definitely different. I'll just take it off and fire it up again. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, the same thing. So there's definitely something different from running it through the USB to this. Right, I'm going to sit here for 5 minutes and wait and watch it, and not on camera, obviously, but we'll see if it stays going. Cool. All right. All right. I've pieced it all together. Got our buck converter in there. CAN line, nice easy power line through the 2 terminals. So instead of the USB. Right. I'll put it in. Make sure it's going to work in the car. Then I can carry on. Okay, look at this mess. Now, I put the new system together, had it running for about a quarter of an hour, and what do you know, it started to glitch out again. So what I've done is I found another brand of buck converter, another Chinese one, of course, because I'm a cheapskate, and I've taken this one out and put the other one in, and it hasn't missed a beat for half an hour. So I'm pretty sure I got on top of it. In the end, it looks like it's not happy with, even though it's putting out 5 volts and it's ample capacity, 3 amps, 15 watts or something. There's something wrong with it. I've done some digging, and it looks like the wave shared screen is very sensitive to the power that comes in. People have to put diodes in line, or they have to put a capacitor in line, sometimes to smooth out the ripples that these cheap ones may put out. So I just tried a different brand. It was a second-hand one that I had lying around, but it actually seems to have worked. So I've buttoned up the car here. Got rid of the gauges. I've just got this one gauge here, which is our actual odometer readout, even though the screen I think does have odometer. I'm not sure, can't remember, but New Zealand law has to have a speedo and an odometer on here that is run mechanically off a wheel. I've got it on the right front wheel, as opposed to a GPS of any kind. So, and it's, you know, that's the rules. So anyway, that's cool. And we've got instant boot again. And like I was saying before I had all this problem with this glitch on it, the screen looks quite grey in this on this filming, but actually it's quite black. The background is quite black. It stands out quite well. So I'm very happy with the way it's working now, and we're all set to go. So I think what I'm going to do is, since that nice little easy job turned into a bit of a saga, I think I'm going to call it quits there and just make a little short video on just purely this tablet and the powering up of it. It may help somebody out in the future. But yeah, seems like it's very susceptible to the power that it's fed. If you have a buck converter, possibly you might have to try a couple of different kinds, or you may have to dig into putting a capacitor in the line or something silly like that. And if we go back to the original, when I first was looking at the back of it today, yes, you do power it up with 5 volts through the VCC terminal and the ground terminal, and you don't have to change your resistor on the back. At this stage, it seems to be working. In time we will see, or if the car catches on fire or something silly like that, well then I know I was wrong. But I'll leave it there, and I'm really happy. And next thing will be obviously hooking up the UAFI and getting it all operational and talking via the CAN line. So that'll be the next on the list. Sorry it was such a short, boring little video, but as I said, this is me, a simple, normal mechanic or a simple, normal person, going through this process from start to finish, and you're coming along with me, and this is the adventures and the shenanigans that I come across just trying to do something simple. But we get there in the end. It's all good. Right, I'm signing off. We'll see you later. Bye.